Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Popcorn Watchlist podcast. I am your host Xavier, and joined with me today are Anthony and Zach. Say hello, gentlemen.
Doing pretty well. How you guys doing?
Not with us today is our research and content man, Danny. He is out on a little bit of a holiday, so I hope he gets to enjoy that for a bit. But don't worry, we'll pick up a little bit of the slack for him. What I want to do is we're going to have a really fun topic because over the weekend we saw two just released action movies that, you can't go wrong with action, especially when it's done right. We'll be talking about Prey and Bullet Train in a bit, but let's go with a quick rundown of what else we saw over the weekend. Zach, go first.
All right. So sometime last week, I want to say it was maybe Thursday or Wednesday was my day off. I watched for the first time the movie. It's an Amazon Prime original. Manchester by the Sea, starring Casey Affleck, and
Nice. Okay.
I'm surprised that I
heavy
didn't
drama.
watch it sooner. Yeah, it was really well made, directed, produced. Like the cinematography was actually. I mean, I like the a lot of like the still like static camera shots, giving it this really cool like somber melancholy kind of.
Yeah, it's always for the kids like a downer tone. Like, yeah, just very melancholic and really just kind of subdued kind of take off, just off the northeastern town. It's really
Yeah.
like it really like the way like you mentioned the scenes are shot right are just really sets up the mood perfectly for it. So I'm surprised you went and dug into the well of some hard drama there. Good for you.
Because I mean, that was a movie that I wanted to watch a long time ago, and I just never got around to watching it. And I mean, I've had Amazon Prime for years, and I just decided now, you know what? I haven't watched it. Let's go ahead and watch it. And the movie's roughly 2 hours, I think, maybe a little bit more.
2 hours and 17 minutes. This is why I have the iPad in front of me.
Thank you for.
I'm
for
picking up, picking up Danny's
the exact number.
Yeah, picking up Danny's slack a little bit. Our numbers and data guy. Go for it. Yeah.
And I mean, it was. I think the most interesting part about the movie, which without giving too much away, is that there is like every few minutes there seems to be a time jump between the present and the past, which something that I talked about before was that the I didn't realize that they were jumping back and to the past and back to the present until maybe about 20 minutes in, where a character dies of like a heart issue, and then the very next scene they show that same character, but I didn't realize it was that same character because then in that scene Casey Affleck is already sitting there in the room when he was on his way to the elevator. So I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
You're like, wait, what?
Like, is this another family member that has a similar heart condition, or?
Isn't it like the grounding point for it is whoever is playing Ben, like the kid, or is it? Or sorry, not like I forget. Like whoever plays the kid, like that same character. Like obviously through the time jumps is a different actor because of age, but
Yeah.
that's still like you're supposed to be your grounding point whenever they go back and forth on it. Is that it? It's been a while. It's been, what is it, like 6 years since I've seen the movie when it came out in 2016?
Yeah, it came out in 2016.
Yeah.
Well, I think the opening scene was Casey Affleck, I think his nephew and his brother and the guy's brother.
Yeah.
On the boat, which I didn't realize until later on in the movie when they showed them again, in a flashback scene on the boat. And I mean, to me, that first opening, couple minutes was, I thought it was just like, present time. It was like I wasn't expecting the time jump.
Time jump. It's like, oh, this isn't a Nolan movie messing with time.
Yeah, this wasn't Interstellar or
Dunkirk.
or Dunkirk,
Right,
or
Anthony?
like
like there were points where like I could feel that half the theater wasn't understanding what was going on in Dunkirk, like between like, oh, this is a flashback, this is leading up to this moment, this is this point in time here, this is like, it was like these weird little like kind of jumps.
Yeah.
Like Tom Hardy's character was like at this point in time,
Yeah, because
then
every
everything else-
time they would go to one of the different characters, they would tell you 2 weeks, 2 days, or 2 hours. It was something like that along those lines. And so it's like, I think the one that lasted the longest was that the first storyline that they showed.
the one with the everybody like freaking out and hunkered down at Dunkirk, like all
Mhm.
the young
Yeah.
soldiers with the Harry Styles and whatever, right?
Because that movie split like land, sea, and air.
Pretty much,
Correct.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
at one point near the end of the movie, then like all those
It all-
stories collide into
Yeah, because there's a scene in that movie where they're showing like the sea story, and you see the plane, and then in the air part you see that same plane but from their perspective,
down.
and then you see the boat that they
Mm-hmm.
fly by
Yep.
from the previous part of the movie.
Yeah, Nolan loves playing with time. That's the moral of the story. So when
And
seeing
he
it
does it
in
really
a,
well.
and then you see it in a prestige drama like Manchester by the Sea, you're like, oh, okay, I'm getting thrown off a bit, right? But
Yeah,
like once you figured it out, like it was never confusing, right?
yeah. I saw where Casey Affleck's character was not as depressed.
Yep.
That was
his
kind of like
shtick in
the
the movie, yeah,
hint
he's
where that was like kind of the hint where it's taking place in Pasco. This is before certain events take place with his family, and
Yeah, don't worry, it's in the synopsis. Yeah, the boy's
Yeah.
father dies, and the uncle has to come and take care of him.
well, I meant Casey's
Yeah,
character's family, like that whole,
yeah.
that whole
Oh, that whole thing.
tragedy. Yeah,
Sorry,
Yeah.
it's been a while. Yeah,
because then even in the flashbacks, then they show, of course, where he gets into that state, but you still see scenes where his nephew is a much younger kid, 10 years old, give or take, 10, 11, 12 years old, and that is from that point an indication of you're in a flashback versus present day.
yeah.
But I mean, the movie as a whole, I mean, it was. I mean, I can see why Casey Affleck won Best Actor for
Mhm.
that movie.
Well deserved that year. Yeah.
And I found some parts funny where he's just very dry and he's like, yeah, yeah, I guess. And he's just giving like super dry, straightforward, like
You ever watch the Ocean's
responses.
movies?
never.
He has a really dry wit in those. Really well with Scott Conn, like his character, like the line delivery is always very dry. It's pretty funny. So like he has experience in it, but that's cool, man. I'm
You
glad
asked
went in
him
there.
if he's seen the Ocean's movies, right? And you said no.
Yeah.
None of them.
Not
Just-
11, 12, 13,
or the
8,
original.
never.
Okay, so
So none of them.
put it on the list.
Things Zach has still not seen.
The watch list.
All of Oceans.
This is the ultimate watch list.
Put
this
it on
is-
the list.
This really is the ultimate.
It's like our listeners, you guys think that you need to put these. I need to put these on my watch list.
He
but-
has his own
But he's out
I
here
have my own
watching.
pop list.
He's out here watching the 2017 Academy Award winning films, which is pretty impressive. Like I don't know many people are gonna
Yeah.
go back. Hey, I'm gonna go and watch like some really good like cinema, good films. So
Yeah.
good
which
stuff.
which I mentioned before we started recording was that those movies were on my list to begin with. I just never got around to finally watching them, and now this is when I'm like, let me just go ahead and just do it. I need to find something newer to watch that I haven't yet seen. So, Manchester by the Sea was now checked off that list. Moonlight is another one from that same year that
That
won
might
Best
also be on
Picture.
Amazon.
I checked. It's not. You have to either
What about HBO?
buy or rent. Well, I checked. I checked pretty much everywhere. I checked. So there's an app called Letterboxd where you can actually find where movies are streaming on. If you can stream them somewhere.
Letterbox. Good hint.
If not, then you have to either pay or either
Rent it.
pay to
Yeah, just
rent
rent
it or buy it. And I think for Moonlight, I'm going to have to rent it because it's not on Netflix, HBO,
worth it.
Hulu.
I'll
It's
tell you
not
right
on
now, it's
anything.
worth it.
Yeah, I mean that one
Very
won Best
powerful.
Picture that year, so
Very
definitely worth a watch for me.
I believe La La Land is on HBO.
Oh, that means you have to
I
also.
think yes, it is.
That means you have to also watch Hacksaw Ridge.
That's another one that's on
Yeah.
my list with
Yeah,
Andrew
Andrew
That was,
Garfield.
that was a good year.
That was a very good
Yeah.
year.
Is that the same year as Lion with Dev Patel?
No, I think that was the year before. Maybe it was the year
Lion.
after or
Is-
before.
Is Lion the one where he's
It's Nicole
the
Kidman and Dev Patel.
Lion? It's not the one where he plays like a mathematician.
Oh
No.
yes, that
Okay,
is
it's
the
a
same
different
year.
one.
No. It's the same
that,
year.
that year had a lot of good movies.
That was
so,
Yeah.
2016. So for
Lion.
it also
Yeah.
had that movie 2016. No, that's a obscure reference to a Ghanan film, which is pretty fun to watch. I think what's his name from this guy that was he was in Deadpool. He's TJ Miller. Like I think he was in an interview somewhere. And he's like, dude, you need to watch this movie 2016. And yeah, go on YouTube and look up just the movie, just 2016 movie. And it's a movie from Ghana. Like it's a guy who did effects and other stuff. And just watch the trailer.
It's not a sequel to 2012.
No, it's
Okay.
not.
Okay, good.
You will be delighted for the minute and change that you watch. But good stuff, man. Very impressed. Keep that up and let us know when you get through some of those other big ones. You know, like
Yeah.
Moonlight, La La Land. Like I would say, recommend also Hacksaw Ridge, Lion,
No, yeah. Hacksaw Ridge is
Yeah.
definitely on my
directed
list.
by Mel Gibson. So
Interesting.
very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, because I had seen other I almost said Grammy. My God, other
Grammy Award
Oscar.
movies,
I've seen
sure.
other Oscar nominated movies from like 2014. I mentioned it before recording as well, like the Grand Budapest Hotel, the Imitation Game,
That
The
one's
Theory of
good.
Everything.
Cumberbatch.
I saw that recently.
Recently, interesting.
Like yeah,
Or
about a
rewatched
month
it?
ago. No, I think it was the first time I've ever actually seen it.
Oh wow! So,
Imitation Game.
so I watched the movie before you did. Interesting.
Yeah, you
Cumberbatch,
got me.
Keira Knightley.
It was because I watched Operation Mincemeat, so I was like, wait, let me go back and watch Imitation Game, which dealt with a lot of all the counterintelligence and code breaking in World War II. So
Yeah,
really cool stuff.
and I mean Benedict Cumberbatch had a really great performance in that one.
Oh yes, he
But my
did.
favorite out of that lot of movies was definitely the Grand Budapest Hotel. I to this day I recommend it all the time to people.
Didn't Interstellar also come out around that time?
It did. It was 2014.
Don't do it. So you know who won best original score that year?
Alexandre Desplat. Every time. Damn it. All right.
For what movie?
Not Interstellar.
Not Interstellar. Anthony, you're up now.
On that high note, I caught up with Better Call Saul, Westworld. Again, every week I think I've been saying it. If you're not watching those shows, both those shows are excellent. Better Call Saul has one more episode for the whole show left
Holy crap.
next Monday, and Westworld, the season finale is also this
Is
coming
coming up.
Sunday.
Yep. When you
So,
guys, when
definitely
you guys,
give those a watch.
when people get this episode for our podcast, that coming up time period should be August 14th. Yeah, August 14th. It'll be Westworld's finale.
Mhm.
Very exciting.
I watched all of The Bear because these guys
Ooh.
recommended it to me. Xavier and Danny both watched it. They said it was good.
Nice.
Very quick watch. Very good show on Hulu. It's one of those FX on Hulu shows. Very good. 8 episodes. Each episode is about 30 minutes. Very quick. You can zoom by it in one day if you have the time or a weekend. Yeah, I highly recommend it as well.
I would love to. What we'll do is we'll get outreach to all the Popcorn Watch listeners and watchers, to see if you guys want to do a whole episode about that show. I really believe that it's something else. Like it's really intense. It's really well shot and well acted. So if you guys are interested in it,
It's a cooking
drop a
show.
line.
It's a show about
It's a show about
the
cooking.
stress of being a chef in a restaurant.
Yeah,
So,
with some fun cameos, but also some really relatable stuff. You ever been in a group setting where just a lot of high stakes, high pressure? You'll
Yes.
relate to that show a lot. It's just really well done. That's awesome.
that's
man.
very good.
Yeah.
And I also saw, I think a week ago, I saw Light and Magic, the
Mm.
docuseries on Disney Plus about ILM, Industrial Light and Magic. Very good. Very interesting. I highly recommend it for anyone who's interested in visual effects. It goes through the history. I'm sure they could have made it longer. It's 6 episodes, I believe. They could have easily made it longer, but the footage that they have on there is pretty great. They have so much footage from back in the day, from when they were starting out and first doing Star Wars and all that. And they go through the first 3 Star Wars movies and then them working on Spielberg movies like Jurassic Park and others, and E.T. So it's very interesting if you're at all interested in any of that stuff. Highly recommend it. It's very cool.
Right on. Okay. Yeah.
And then the other two movies that
We'll
we're
be
gonna talk
talking about
about
later.
a little bit later.
Yeah. Pivoting it over to that, talking about things that are really cool, and especially with really good effects. This past weekend, Netflix just dropped The Sandman. So a lot of people have been very scared about this adaptation of Neil Gaiman's graphic novel, because the comic's really surreal. Like it's one of those where like people would say it's impossible to adapt it properly. So far, and I'm maybe like halfway through it, dude. The show's really good. It's well done, well acted. It's well shot, and like the effects really give off the whole almost like unreal, like dream like kind of atmosphere to it all. Um, yeah, like the cast is really strong. It is it's a little like trippy, so but some of the accents are also a little kind of unique, and it's for some people. So if you're a habitual watcher of things with subtitles, you'll be okay. Normally on my first runs, I don't like to put on subtitles because I don't like to make my eyes go immediately to the words to read ahead of time. But it's really good. Like but it's a little trippy. Like understand that it's gonna be really trippy, but once you're okay with that, you're in for a ride. Like it's really well done. It's really cool. So I guess I'd say good job, Netflix, even though you guys are now paying $42 million as a settlement to writers.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But hey, um, get those subscribers back because you have now help with Sandman. It's pretty good.
Don't spend 220 million on movies.
The
Gray Man.
yeah. I was gonna make a very like subtle remark
Gray
about
Man.
the Gray Man, but
Pretty cool
whoops.
movie, but $220 million.
And they
Well,
only get
that's
like
Marvel money,
1% of
guys.
that back,
That's
maybe.
Yeah,
That's Marvel money.
They drop Marvel money on the streaming service, and other stuff has to maybe get axed. Hopefully not, but whatever, man.
Or they start putting their movies in theaters.
Maybe.
Which they have
Yeah, which
on a
yeah,
few occasions.
they've done a couple times on it. Well, but speaking of axes, let's pivot on over to this double feature action weekend that we all got a chance to be a part of. And this actually very very surprised me because just our previous episode we were talking about watching Predator, and that sets a high standard for like a really cool action movie, but with a suspense because these ultra macho like ultra super soldiers are getting hunted by this extraterrestrial supernatural alien that's just hunting them for sport. So now you're like, whoa, how are we going to do this as a prequel? And Prey as a movie on Hulu, extremely well done. You can tell it was on a lighter budget, but I think that worked in the movie's favor.
Yes.
I'll be honest with you. Like they had to get creative with some of the ways they did some of the action sequences. The movie's also really well shot. Like that whole atmosphere, just like the American frontier, or in this case would probably be 1719, so maybe Louisiana Purchase stuff or French territory.
Yeah.
So it's pretty awesome. Very nice to see. And to Anthony's point, sometimes you may be as a streaming service, you may be sitting on this, but maybe dare to put it in theaters because you might make some money.
I think the issue with that was the last one, The Predator, that came out a few years ago. It just didn't do well. It wasn't. I don't think it was received well,
So
critic wise and
so
review wise. And
did it bomb like the self-destruct?
Yeah, it
risk?
didn't.
Yeah.
it didn't
Yeah.
make any money.
No, it didn't.
So I think they were just hesitant or scared to put this one out. They're like, oh, I don't know if we'll make money off it, but kind of leaving it on your service, which Hulu. We're talking about Prey that's now on Hulu, guys.
So are all
Ladies
the
and
other
gents.
Yeah, so are all the Predator movies.
Yeah.
So Predator 1, Predator 2. God, I hope not Requiem, but I think it's
Um,
there.
But yeah, and I think there was a
But-
report today that said it was their highest rated anything on Hulu.
Yeah, highest launch
Yeah.
of anything, or
Yeah,
highest
launch.
reviewed
I mean,
drop of stuff. So, but hey,
they actually did advertise it, so it did have some sort of a advertising budget. I know when I was watching The Bear, almost every commercial break it was watch Prey this weekend. So
and you were like, I will.
I was like, I don't want to watch this trailer because I'm going to watch it tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
Can you please stop?
yeah, but yeah, like what Xavier was saying, it was surprisingly good. I wasn't really expecting much, just because the past I don't know how many years of Predator movies haven't been too hot, except for maybe the Predators that came out.
Yeah, 2010?
7-8 years ago.
Was it 2010?
Yeah, it came out a while ago.
Wait, I'm the
Do it.
info
Look it up.
guy.
It came out a little while ago with Adrian Brody,
2010.
right?
Yeah.
2010. 12
Adrian
years
Brody,
ago.
Lawrence Fishburne, Topher Grace, Danny Trejo randomly showed up. Walton Goggins.
It's a pretty
Yeah,
stellar.
Yeah, it's a good cast.
Mahershala Ali was
That's a
in
good
this
cast.
movie. Surprisingly stacked cast.
The effects are great. It had a good cast. The story was pretty cool. Yeah, like aside from that one, pretty much all the other Predator movies haven't been that great until ever since the first one. Maybe the second one. Second one's all right.
The second one gave us a lot of like lore and a lot of like world sort of like universe building of what the Predators do and stuff like that. But as a film itself, it's kind of uneven, but you know, you get some cool things. Like it's worth the watch to see some cool stuff.
Do you know? Can you look up the budget for Prey? Because I don't think we ended up finding that out when we watched it.
Yeah, because I mean, I checked a lot of different like news outlets, media outlets to see if there was something that could give an idea of how much the budget was. I initially said something like 80-something million, but that was for the original Predator movie, not
and that's
for
a lot.
Prey.
Like for a movie back then, the 80s, like for that type of movie, that seems like a lot.
40 million went to Arnold. No, I'm kidding.
But his biceps.
It's just the biceps.
Each bicep was 40 million.
10 million went to shoot to shoot the Dylan, you son of a bitch scene. Also not a real fact. I have to be
The greatest
The greatest handshake of all time.
and
Manly.
slash
Stare down.
arm
arm wrestling.
yeah,
arm
match.
wrestling match in the air.
I can't find a
that we
okay, so
recreated
that's not
on
there.
Popcorn Watchlist on Instagram. Go check
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
out.
we made the best reel ever. Please watch it.
But yeah, like Xavier was saying that the budget didn't seem like it was too high, and I don't think the budget was that high for the first one either, for the original. So I think they kind of went back
Yeah.
to their roots and said, what made the original so iconic? Because I mean, I wouldn't say it's incredible, but for its time and the type of movie it is, like action / sci-fi movie, like it's a well done movie. It has its cheesy parts, 80s cheese, but like those are classic by now. All the Arnold one-liners, like they're too good. But
Yeah.
Spoiler alert: one comes back. We'll let you guess which one, or you just watch the movie because it's a fun watch. Amber Midthunder really helps carry a lot of the movie in terms of her character's like initial wants, her struggles, and just having to deal with this crazy threat of almost invisible, like 8 foot tall super hunter. And I liked what they did with the Predator himself, or like it felt more of like a primal and like real back to basics. Like the only thing that was like there were only like maybe 2 weapons that were super duper ultra high tech, which were like
His cloaking
the cloaking, yeah, the
and
laser guided arrows, like because like they kind of did their own
True.
thing.
Yes.
Yeah, because
like that final scene. Yeah.
or the other stuff beforehand, like it's these. You could see the like because
you can see that from since this is a prequel to the original, that the technology that the Predator had in the original movie, you can tell that okay, they've upgraded some of their weapons because it's I don't know how many years passed since.
and the wrist blade
then.
looked really cool.
Yeah.
like it looked like more high tech, even though like all their other stuff was low. Was lower tech. The laser sight, like the triangle dot laser sight, like almost split apart at a certain point. So that means it could shoot at different things. Again, we didn't have that beforehand.
The curving stick that turns into a blade that he just like chucks.
Oh yeah,
that was awesome.
That throwing
Oh, yeah.
dagger that also like amputates, like it's like, but also like traps.
Yeah,
That thing
it
was cool.
crazy.
So there's a whole like, so there are some great establishing things of just like it's almost like the Predator gets dropped at level 1 with his tech on Earth, and he just starts killing like the smaller stuff, and then graduates to bigger and bigger and bigger things. You go from snake to wolf to bear to man. So like at that point, it starts to showcase really like all of the tools and tricks that he has. But what really shows up too is that like the humans that he goes up against, in terms of the Comanche tribe, like they kind of until like they actually get like smacked, because obviously we're humans, like they put up fight. Like they put up a pretty decent fight. Like every time they go through, like with group tactics, they nick them or they hit them. I was extremely impressed at like, hey, like with coordinated efforts, you can actually do some stuff.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, if it bleeds.
we can kill it. Yeah, but Amber Midthunder, I know her from Legion. So like so seeing her like being able to carry the film mostly on her own, I think was really awesome. Um and interesting enough, this is a shout out to Danny, though he's not here, is he pointed out that the movie on Hulu has a Comanche dub where like the whole like if let's say this was distributed to other audiences and say you have, tribal elders who only spoke, let's say in Comanche, like they can watch the entire film and understand it. Like that's kind of cool. Like when you think about it, it's just like, hey, if you're gonna watch something that's showing off like your people and it has a positive representation, like now you can understand it better too.
I may want to watch it again like that.
Yeah, I think if it has, I wonder if it'll also have the English subtitles along with it.
I'm sure.
That'd be kind of dope.
Or you have to turn it on, like turn them on
Yeah.
when you're
Because
watching it. But
In the, I guess, quote unquote English version, they do speak most of the time in English, but in other times they don't.
There's Comanche, and then minor spoiler alert, there's also French.
Yeah.
So if you know French, you can figure out a lot of things.
But the overall, I mean, there's not that much dialogue in the movie anyway. So yeah.
Yeah. There's
it was
take your poison.
it was
Choose
a
your
very
poison.
it was a very simple movie, but it was made, or like the director made simple very effective.
Yeah, I think Dan Trachtenberg knows how to be resourceful. So I think that was really cool to see that they're able to kind of do these things and also showcase that the main character is resourceful in her own right. Like the first thing, like just the way she handled her weapons, like this is cool. Like and then
like the her hatchet throwing was just and
the tomahawk throws and like, oh, I got this back. Like this is like too cool.
Yeah, she upgraded from like she put a string on it or put rope on it and just
like
really cool.
It makes you think like, why haven't more people done that? Like it's almost like a ninja kusarigama thing where you have like you can have something on one end as a counterweight and then you throw the tomahawk at somewhere else and then bring it back. It's dope. And every fight and action sequence was done really well, was shot. You can follow the action. Like there's a what we call the Predator showcase where he just goes to town. There's a time where you see what I call mooks or like randos that you're able to just kind of like he gets to go like unleash and go all out. Like we were all watching this together and we were just like watching some awesome and very creative kills.
There's just constant jeez.
Just damn or just completely like this
nice
man, or this guy died twice, like just double died. And there's some really cool. There was like Anthony and I would do like a God of War reference because this dude whips out a shield that's retractable and like, okay, this is really cool because, random nerd
which gave us some pretty cool deaths.
Used it for offense and defense.
Offense and defense for sure.
It was awesome.
Yeah, and then this dude just was
he
too
had
cool.
all the tools.
He had the technology. He just did not have herbal medicine.
But he did though. He has his own little liquid that he puts on his wounds.
Yeah.
True.
I don't know if it's herbal. It's some alien, some predator serum. I don't know.
Predator, but just predator juicing up. He's just taking
goop,
roids.
Goop.
It's just roids.
He puts
pops it in and
gack on his. I don't know what it is. He puts some
gack.
Oh yeah.
Damn. Gack slime. I mean, no, the slime is his blood.
That too.
Yeah. So, but that was cool. But all in all, like the music was done really well. Supporting cast did their jobs effectively. Again, there are references, overt reference to movies. To the other movies, like namely Predators 1 and 2. I'll just leave it at that. Watch it. Yeah, definitely recommend it. If you like good action movies, like Zach said, pretty effective action. They did the RRR thing though, where all the animals were CG. But I'm cool with that. Like,
I mean, except for the companion dog.
Yeah, there's a dog in the movie.
Yes, and that dog is hella cute. I read a story, and I was telling the guys that I read a story where that dog was, in the most pleasant way possible, a nightmare to work with, because she would always have the zoomies, just kind of zoom around everywhere. We're like, no, she needs to hit her spot so we can take the shot. But she would just run all over the place and then want to just like hug people, and you're like, we get it. You're a dog. Like she was like sort of trained, but it was adopted because it was the particular breed they needed to be historically accurate. By the way, also the movie's hella historically accurate. In terms
Except
of
for the Predator.
well, that's historically accurate Predator in 1719.
Yeah.
That's how he was. Who's to say he wasn't? Anyway, yeah, it's all in all in agreement. Danny, I also have his vote is definitely worth the watch.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up indeed.
Definitely watch it on
Don't sue
Hulu.
us, Siskel and Ebert. I mean, Ebert.
So we give it four pops. Is that what it is?
4 pops. Yeah, 4 out of 5 pops. Yeah, that's our rating, guys. Congratulations. Yeah, 4 out of 5 pops. Oh man, cool. And then speaking of, and then going into pops, we got a lot of fun pops while eating popcorn because we went to the theater to watch Bullet Train. Yeah, that was a stretch. That was a real stretch. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna put list in there somewhere, but I was like, "Where's he gonna put list?"
Okay,
I thought you were
earlier-
gonna say Bullet Train.
Earlier he did
list.
say popcorn watch listeners, and I'm
and
like,
then you can just say popcorn watchers.
Popcorn
We could do that.
watchers,
Popcorn watchers and popcorn watch listeners.
I mean, I kind of like watch listeners.
Yeah, that makes
because it's
sense.
Watch
very creative on
listeners?
list
Yeah,
and listens.
we could workshop it.
Is that what
workshop
we're
it.
doing right now? We're just workshopping
Well,
popcorn watch
We just did.
listeners,
We just did.
popcorn watchers,
Our watch listeners, and then our popcorn watchers.
Our kernels.
There you go.
Our popcorn. No,
Like popcorn kernels or like
the
Colonel.
Colonel Sanders.
No,
no?
like corn.
Oh,
Yes, he means Colonel
Corn.
Corn. I knew that. I just didn't want to acknowledge it because
I wanted to make sure.
yeah.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
just throwing it out there, you know.
Okay.
But I like watch listeners.
Okay.
Watch listeners. All right. Going back to Bullet Train. List. Oh man. So like Anthony and I have seen there's a movie that came out way back in 2006. It's called Smokin' Aces.
Yes.
If you've seen Smokin' Aces, you'll get sort of an idea of what Bullet Train is like in terms of how we introduce minor characters, what their significances are, and how they interweave in and out of the overarching story, and then how the overarching story actually unfolds. I think it was done really, really well. I think, Brad Pitt might have been like almost perfectly cast for this in a sense because the dude is just played Ladybug perfectly. That's just funny because the code name you're like, why not? But yeah, it was cool, man. I don't know. I mean, we talked about it a bit after we watched it, but tell the watch listeners what you guys thought.
Well, to me, I kind of been keeping this to myself a little bit because initially I wasn't sure if I wanted to watch the
You
movie.
hated it.
What?
You hated it.
No, I actually really liked
it's,
it.
He
It's as
didn't
bad
like-
as Top Gun.
He didn't like the fact that they were singing "Staying Alive" in Japanese. He's like,
No,
this
no.
is going to be cheesy.
He's like, I don't know those lyrics.
I can't sing along.
It's like, I don't know Japanese. No, but
Neither did
I
Brad Pitt.
I initially was like, I mean, I don't know if I want to watch it in theaters. Maybe wait until it comes out on a streaming service or something. But I'm glad I did watch it because I did have a lot of fun. It was very funny. Very there was a lot of I don't know if you would say physical comedy, but
Some of it.
it was like action.
It was action comedy. Yeah, like
Yeah.
there were points where like the action was used for comedic effect.
Yeah, like there's a scene from the trailer where it's like, oh, this is the quiet car,
Mhm.
and he pulls a gun, he slams his hand on the table, and then that
They're
whole back and
fighting
forth
in a quiet fight.
between him and
Lemon?
Lemon. Okay, it was
That
Lemon.
was Lemon. Yeah. Remember, he's just no one likes lemons. He's like, what do you mean no one likes lemons?
Brian Tyree Henry.
Brian Tyree. So this is a rule. Like Brian
Paper
Tyree
boy?
Henry, all about that paper boy. Yeah, watch Atlanta, but also Brian Tyree Henry like makes anything way more enjoyable. So like he made the almost unnecessary side plot line of Godzilla versus Kong enjoyable. I will
I don't know
say
about
that.
that.
I will go on record and say that for what random weird conspiracy theory for them to find out that they had a Mecha Godzilla, like he made that part at least hella fun. Like that whole little side story, he made it a lot of fun. Anyway, yeah, Lemon.
Wait, was that this movie or something else?
No, we were talking about Godzilla versus Kong.
Oh, I can't ever watch that movie. That's why I haven't seen
That's
it yet.
okay, but you should watch it.
No, I
It's
didn't.
fun.
I
You
didn't
should
even
watch
it.
some parts of that movie.
You should
Some
watch
parts.
Yeah,
The good parts.
the two fight scenes.
yeah, the fight scenes of
the two
Godzilla
big fight
versus
scenes.
Kong.
It's on HBO, right?
Yes.
It doesn't. Okay, I'll probably watch it this week.
Anyway,
But
so yeah, you went in there thinking like I don't know, some trepidation. Okay, be honest, it was the Bad Bunny thing, right? The fact that Bad Bunny's in this movie. Oh, stunt
not
casting.
no, not really. I think it was just more of like just not being sure uh how I would uh react to this movie in general.
Mm-hmm.
Um
You usually don't see
like if
movies
it
like
was
that.
worth like if it was worth watching. I mean, I like movies like that where it's like action and comedy and all that stuff, but I wasn't sure if this was a movie that I thought was worth watching in theaters and would rather watch it after the fact, on a streaming service or something,
Sure.
or renting it off of you know iTunes or Amazon or something. But I am glad that I did watch it because I I guess because I had lower expectations and it was a fun movie that I thoroughly and genuinely enjoyed it, with not just because of like the action, like the comedic action, but also uh I guess like the kind of plot twists or couple of plot twists towards the end were pretty good, pretty well
Okay.
done.
All right, surprising. I would think that you would think they would have been on the cheesier side.
No, not really. I didn't think that at all really, but it was like I was kind of like oh okay, like I didn't see that, or I didn't see that coming, or
Yeah.
but the movie was really like pretty well thought out, with having all these interconnected stories, and to the whole Bad Bunny part, I'm kind of glad that he was only in there for like 10-15 minutes.
Spoilers. No, actually, he's there for a little longer than. It's like he's
Okay,
there.
yeah,
It's
He's
longer than you think. Yeah.
It's
he's
longer
there,
than you
but
think. So people think like, oh, he's in the movie for a little bit. Like he's there for longer than you think, but it is a shorter bit. But that's to the I think in the movie's strength because again, there's a lot of fun unexpectedness to it.
yeah,
So that's cool. I don't know. I mean, like talking about other people in the movie, like Hiroyuki Sanada and Andrew Koji. I did not think they'd be the characters that they were. Like I didn't think they'd be somehow interconnected that way, but that was pretty dope because I like both of those guys. Stuff that they're in, I'll go watch. Partly the reason why I ended up watching Snake Eyes, even though it wasn't too great. Like it was fun, but it wasn't good. If that makes any sense. But
it
Andrew
was
Koji, yeah, Andrew Koji's cool, man. Like I always tell everybody if you like, oh, who's that guy? Where's he from? Like, watch this show called Warrior.
HBO.
It was a Cinemax show, I think. So then now it got incorporated into being a Max original. Hopefully it gets its season 3. They did confirm that they were making it, but I don't know what the heck is going on with the Discovery Warner Brothers merger. Who knows? But they better not touch that show because that show's really cool. Anyway, that's my diatribe on that end. But yeah, everybody from Zazie Beetz, who funny enough was in Deadpool 2, which this movie Bullet Train was directed by David Leitch, who did direct Deadpool 2. Brad Pitt randomly showed up for like a split second in Deadpool 2. There are other fun cameos in this movie. That's all I'll say. But
oh yeah,
but
yeah.
Anthony, like,
Yeah, that was
what
a
are
good
your
cameo.
thoughts? I'm inclined
Yeah,
to hear some stuff.
I enjoyed it a lot too. It was pretty much exactly what I thought it was gonna be. It, like you said, it definitely was reminiscent of Smoking Aces. Where what I did like about Bullet Train was I always like movies that try their best to have one location throughout the whole movie. In this case, it's like Bullet Train, so the very apt title. But the main story is on the bullet train. But then, kind of like how I imagine every time they show a new character, then it's like here's like a couple minute backstory on this character and why they're on this train. And so it gives the reason as to why all these stories and characters are on this train. And yeah, I enjoyed all of that. Me and Xavier were talking about it, that it also reminded us of Guy Ritchie movies like Snatch or Rock and Rolla, where he always has these wacky characters, quick edits, and they usually have funny dialogue when there's nonsense going on. And a lot of that was in this movie, where especially Brian Tyree Henry and
Andrew
Quicksilver,
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Aaron Taylor Johnson,
You'll know them as
Kick-Ass.
yeah.
They both played partners / brothers in the movie. They call them the twins. Yeah, and their dialogue was great. They were both pretty hilarious. So
Dude,
I really liked them.
And they were both in Godzilla movies.
yeah.
Yes,
Holy crap.
and
That's
he
another
was
one.
in Aaron Taylor Johnson was in 2 movies with Elizabeth Olsen. Kind of weird.
Yeah, that's very strange. So Godzilla,
Oh yeah.
and then Age
One
of
He
more-
was
Ultron.
his wife in Godzilla. Weird.
And then a
then
year later,
the brother and
they were twins.
yeah, and Age of
Acting.
Ultron. Yeah,
Magic of acting.
yeah.
Yeah, man. It was dope. And so we talk a lot about like the witty banter. Yeah,
Mhm.
like those two characters, Tangerine and Lemon, like just their interaction with everybody, just you could tell that like the wittiness would either like even if they were being like outwitted, their wittiness in being outwitted was still really entertaining. And so like you're drawn into the screen on that.
Yeah, them two, Brad Pitt, and probably like 2 other people were like the main focus, and then there were other side characters. I would say like Joey King's character, she was constantly
In there.
being in the story
Yeah.
with you not really knowing what's going on with this girl, but they slowly show you what's going on, and
There's more to her than what
yeah,
it
and
seems.
she's connected with what's it, Andrew Koji, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, with his character.
And yeah, more like then they bring in other like more tenured stuff. I'll tell you, Michael Shannon like went in there, knew the assignment. I'll just say like he understood the assignment and did exactly what was needed. Just everything kind of just fit well in this movie. Everything worked. Like
Yeah.
it was, even like the fun. Again, we're talking about the witticisms between characters like Brad Pitt and Sandra Bullock over like the microphone and any other phone that he just can pick up. There were a lot of fun stuff going on in there. Like there's just the main character, which is Ladybug played by Brad Pitt. He's like going through this whole like moral reawakening of maybe like I'm gonna do better, so I'm gonna put more peace into the world. It's like you are a gun for hire or like a criminal for hire, but he's just like yeah, so like just there it's just it expands upon it and like so because of that mentality you end up getting these really fun sequences. And with Zach's point, like the action is like really it's still well done, and you can tell because David Leitch also did other great action movies like Atomic Blonde. He co-directed I think the first John Wick.
Mhm.
Yeah, and the action's really simple to follow. I always love that. Like I really despise these days the shaky cam that goes on in a lot of stuff, but it's also like the way the characters kind of like fight off or can play along with that. Like it's indicative of who they are as characters, like their fighting styles or the weapons of choice or the resourcefulness they have to use. Um, very entertaining, like
Yeah.
completely entertaining. Like there are a couple sequences that you're like, man, this is really cool. Or like even like the final sequence that all coming together, like you get some really
Nonsense.
really fun nonsense.
There's surprisingly good fight scenes in the small constrained area that they're in, because a lot of the fights are in the train, and so it's like they all have to be swinging their fist or doing all these kicks or trying to stab each other, shoot each other on like a tiny cart of a train.
Yeah,
But so yeah, they came up with interesting ways of showing that.
yeah. You have some fun, like people would say like Jackie Chanisms, like using the environment as an offense and defensive weapon, or using other inanimate objects like the briefcase or a water bottle. Or there's so much like just the actual environment of the train itself, other pieces of luggage, yeah, like the furniture of the train, like that, like again, like you see in the trailer, but that whole sequence of the fight in the silent car is freaking hilarious. I did not think like, oh, if you saw in the trailer, it's not gonna be funny, or like you can't build on that. I was wrong. Pleasantly surprised to be wrong there. So it's cool, man.
Yeah, it's funny. It's pretty
Good.
violent, so don't go in there thinking like, don't take your kids.
Yeah, it
it's
is a
rated
rated
R.
R.
Yeah, it is
It's
rated
rated
R.
R. There's
Yeah.
a lot of
It's for the language and
yeah.
violence.
There's language
mostly.
and violence.
And
You
a
know.
lot of blood.
There's
Yeah.
blood coagulating out of orifices. I mean eyes. Just the eyes, Chico.
Yeah, overall fun. If you've seen Smoking Aces, or you're used to movies that Guy Ritchie has done, if you're into those type of movies, definitely go watch it. If you want to see a fun, entertaining action, sort of like assassin movie, that's what this movie is. It's hitman slash assassins on a train, and a bunch of them are on this train, and they all are trying to kill each other, and they don't know why, or some of them do know why, but
They do know why, but they really don't.
yeah,
So it's really fun to see it all come together, and it's a lot of fun. Yeah, you'll be way more attuned into what those people can do. I'm sorry, way more attuned into like the kind of movies you'll watch when you go to see like action movies. Like you're not gonna look for just like your standard. Like it elevates what you're looking for in an action film. Like in terms of like being if like all let's say like the Raid and John Wick are setting the standard, then at least this one is on the lines of like, hey, the action is uh able to be seen and followed while still being entertaining in its own cool like subversive and intertwined spin. It's the words are hard to describe it because it's I just want to say smoking aces. It's smoking aces in Japan on a bullet train. And with a couple different languages, but it's really freaking cool. Like I got out of that theater, thinking, hell yeah, like this was a lot of fun. I hope more people go to watch it or at least get it.
definitely.
For word of mouth.
Yeah, it made I think 30 million over the weekend, which isn't too much, but I think they'll take it. It's a rated R
Yeah,
movie.
it is
and
an art film. Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure they'll make their money back easily because that was just here. Globally, I'm pretty sure they made more.
yeah. They'll
But
surprisingly, I think they'll make good money in Japan.
what's good is that there's not really anything really big for the next, I don't know, like weeks. So it could just be
Yeah.
in the top 5 or whatever for the next couple of weeks with people going to watch it that didn't want to watch it the first weekend
You
or
mean
that they couldn't.
you mean you don't think Beast is gonna be that big?
I don't think so. I mean,
You don't think
I don't think
Dragon
so.
Ball
it'll
Superhero?
probably, if anything, it'll be as big or less than Bullet Train
Than
because I
Bullet
think
Train.
Beast is also rated R.
Is
So
it R? I thought it was PG-13.
I don't know if it's rated R. Then I think it'll
Fact
run into
check.
the
To the
same. I
rescue.
think it'll run into the same issue where it's like,
But I feel like Beast. When I watched that trailer, I don't think it's gonna be a strong movie in terms of critical reception and uh you know box
I
office
mean,
numbers.
I like Idris Elba
It is a rated R film.
and
Whoops.
Charlton
Did not know.
Copley. I like both those guys, but I think that's how you pronounce his name.
Charlton Copley.
Copley,
Yeah.
Copley. Yeah, he should be in more stuff. I don't know why he's not in more stuff.
He is great.
Because he's doing movies like Beast.
Hey,
Damn,
shut
District
up.
9, man.
Chappie.
District 9.
Chappie is actually. Oh snap! Is he in Russian? He's apparently in Russian Doll. I have not seen season 2 of Russian Doll.
Have you seen what's this movie? The first person movie? Hardcore Henry.
Hardcore Henry.
I have not seen that one actually.
That's
That's a movie.
Wacky one. That's a wacky one.
That is definitely a wacky one. It
but
was.
he's great in it.
Yeah, it's a movie entirely done in first person. Again,
Yeah.
talking about action movies, like and how you can.
Is he the first person?
No, he's not.
No,
Oh,
he's not.
Okay.
No, he's
Henry is because
He-
he's hardcore.
yeah, he's hardcore about it, dude. Yeah, that
Isn't
movie.
that a
It's like
French
first
or
person,
British,
like
like a French or British movie? I don't know.
GoPro movie.
Yeah, it's basically a GoPro movie.
Yeah, that's yeah. But I heard that the movie was okay, like story wise, like it was
Dude, the action's
It's just
fun.
it's just
Decent.
cool for the fact of like how they did it.
yeah.
Like the fact that the whole movie is like that, and I guess some of the action scenes that they had to do in that style, I was like, oh, okay. I don't
Yeah,
know how they pulled that off, but that was cool.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah.
Hardcore Henry. I did not know this. It's on Netflix, so it's worth a watch. It's a lot of fun.
Another wacky.
I think that's a movie I would
Wacky
watch
movie.
just because it has a gimmick to it.
Oh, you should. But it's fun because, like, at reading here,
Very
I didn't know
frantic.
this. Yeah, I didn't know this that the director played one of the like stuntmen that plays Henry. Like, it's pretty freaking cool.
Plays one of the stuntmen that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the way the main
So-
character, since it's all done in the first person,
Yeah.
it's a there basically you can have since you don't see the person's face
Yeah.
for the most part, it can be played by any random different people. So imagine like
So the director was the
was-
stunt
was one of the
stunt-
people who played the main character because it's
Okay.
all stunts and stuff.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
just that's another one. So I would say watch that again if you like stuff with a gimmick.
Yeah, it's one of those like simulated one-shot movies because you're just looking through the vision of this character.
Is it a like a one take kind of movie, or is it okay? It's
Yes,
all,
but it's like
In
simulated.
the
It's
action
like-
sequences,
yeah.
it's like a one take, but everything else, I would say it isn't.
okay.
Yeah. So to recap, Prey on Hulu, definitely watch it.
Yeah.
Bullet Train in theaters,
recommend.
definitely watch it. You know, we give it the 4 out of 5 pops.
I would.
Yeah,
Bullet Train. I think I can give it
3.5.
4 to 5
maybe
trains.
3.5.
3.5 pops. Okay, 3.5. That's fair.
Out
I
of
think
10,
3.5.
how much?
Like maybe like
7.5?
7.5.
7.5.
Around there.
7.5 out of 10. All right.
Okay. But that doesn't mean like it's just mediocre. Like it's
No,
still
it's not.
enjoyable. It's entertaining. Go watch it. You know, it's just cool to see Brad Pitt do some physical stuff here every once in a while because he's usually just a smoldering. You know, the best. Honestly, to me, the most iconic like Brad Pitt film, other than like some people will say Inglorious Bastards. You know, where he's not really doing a lot of stuff. He's just acting. Or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It to me is like Ocean's 11. Because I just love the fact that every time he's on screen and he's himself and he's not disguised as anybody else, he's all like when you watch this movie, Zach, he's always eating something. Like that's like his character's name's Rusty. Like he's always eating like peanuts or he's sipping on something like an orange Julius or something really mundane. Like it's the funniest thing ever. You notice like this man's always eating something, and it's like not distracting, but you can't help but notice.
You'll see. We'll watch it.
Yeah.
We'll get together and do a trilogy
Well,
night. or
Those
something.
are on HBO Max, right?
I'm not sure.
Because I think I
Well,
added.
question.
I think I added those to my watch list
We'll check.
on HBO Max,
Okay.
But for sure, Prey.
including Ocean's 8.
Let's see.
Watch Prey. Watch Bullet Train. Again, highly recommend Light and Magic. Highly recommend
Oh.
Westworld.
Yeah.
Highly recommend Sandman.
Mm-hmm.
I recommend Manchester by the Sea,
There
and
you
I
go.
also finished or I watched the entirety of Severance.
Oh,
Really,
Woo!
finally,
yeah,
and really good
talked
show
about
too.
that a little bit.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did it before.
Yeah,
This
I'm
guy
a little-
caught up finally.
Yeah, I'm a little late to the actual discussion, but man,
Apple Plus, if you have it, Severance, do
but
it.
it
That's
is
worth that, man. It's too good.
that finale was what really was, pretty mind blowing. In a couple
bomb.
of things.
It was the bomb. I'm bringing back the bomb. Anyway, so that's gonna be our rundown for today, everybody. Please go ahead and watch those. Nothing but great things. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you guys again next time with Danny with another fun topic. And until then, catch you till later. Later's on the Menji. Man, I don't know how to do an outro, but thank you for everybody, and you guys have a great one. Till next time.
Later, guys.
Adios.